Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about loneliness. Now, I want to tackle this video with my experiences with loneliness, so I hope you can relate to it. When I used to suffer from extreme anxiety, I felt unique. I felt like nobody understood where I was coming from, how I was feeling. And I remember going to my partner, my parents, doctor. They say, hey, you're fine, relax. That only made me not relaxed because internally I was a mess. I was a chaotic mess, right? And so their words of relax, have a beer and relax, or, stop beating yourself up. It's like, okay, well, that's good to hear for maybe a second, but I'm living in a confined jail cell in my being. And it only fueled my anxiety because I was constantly in a state of shock. Now, at this time in my life, well, before leading up to this extreme anxiety, there was an extreme lackingness, meaninglessness in my life. And this sense of lacking was brought about because I was living a pattern of destructive behaviors, which I didn't know were destructive at the time. And those behaviors were making me feel temporarily numb. And they were making me feel like I was transcending, if that makes sense, because I was always seeking a transcendent experience through external means, through drugs, alcohol, toxic relationships, junk food, all the time. But really, underneath the surface, I was yearning, I was craving for this change in perspective. I was looking for a higher calling. I didn't know that specifically, but that's what was happening unconsciously. And so I was grabbing onto toxic relationships, friendships, and I was feeling the attention my ego was craving. My ego was saying, hey, I am a special person. I am this handsome. I am this funny. And I am this unique person. Pay attention to me. So I was seeking that attention, not just through like sex or toxic relationships, but I was seeking it when I was lonely. I couldn't stand being in my own skin away from anybody else. Like I would just go around my parents and say, hey, pay attention to me. I'm not feeling great. And then that would resonate to my partner. That would resonate then to my friends. And I was in a constant yearning. I was in a constant craving. And this was never ending. And the more chaotic my life became, the more it led to, I am this unique person. I don't belong in this society. How can I get a 9 to 5 job? I want to live a hedonistic, free lifestyle because I was craving that lifestyle because of people in TV shows and movies, like the Brad Pitt in Fight Club, who was just like this. He was marching to the beat of his own drummer, and I found that so admirable. But when I went out into the world to try and live that free lifestyle, what would happen was I felt more chaotic because it's obvious once you start to release the borders of of order and you go out into too much chaos, too much freedom, too much unknown, of course it's going to bring about anxiety. Of course you're going to get lost in all of that, right? And I got lost in all of that. I thought, I want to just, live without borders. I want to just go and have one night stands. I want to just go and drink and stay up till 2 and smoke weed. And I did those things. But the more I did those things, the more I realized that I was living too far out in the unknown. It was bringing on too much anxiety because all of these different things I was latching onto, they were causing a lot of negative outcomes rather than transcendent spiritual experiences that led towards my higher self. And at the bottom, I had no trust in myself because I was so dependent on all of these external means. There was no trust. I couldn't be alone without having somebody close to me to help me out. And so the question then becomes, how do you build on that trust? Well, that's a really complicated question. Well, first, I had to admit to myself that I needed help. When I reached rock bottom with severe anxiety, I said, I'm throwing my hands up to God and I'm saying, hey, I need some sort of higher power to guide me through this. All of my resources, internal resources, what I know, it's not working. I need some sort of guidance. And then I found someone, a mentor on YouTube, who helped guide me out of my anxiety disorder. Right? Remember, disorder is order that's disrupted, too much disarray, too much chaos. So I had to minimalize my life and to change my patterns. And I was building on trust when I started to venture out into the world and to face the challenges. And one thing that I did was I kept my mentor in my back pocket, right? So I went out into the world and I went and encountered uncomfortable situations, like being somewhere like a shopping mall, being somewhere on the subway or at a concert, and feeling uncomfortable because doing something I'm not used to doing, right? And I had my mentor with me, so I would watch his videos when I was feeling uncomfortable, and I was the student, right? And my mentor was the master. So I was subjecting myself to a powerful tool, a higher self, right? I was subjecting myself to my mentor, to a higher self, to help me in those situations that I wasn't used to doing. So when I started to change my patterns, so I sacrificed negative relationships or toxic friends, and I started to change my routine. I started to focus on my higher self. What happened was it made me uncomfortable because I wanted to just go and live that hedonistic lifestyle, but now I'm at Starbucks reading a book. I was uncomfortable. So but when I was reading, I noticed that, hey, I could do this. Like, I never thought I could read this whole book in like a few weeks. Hey, I did something I didn't know I could. I started to build on a foundation. My amygdala, my fear response, started to associate uncomfortable situations with not dying now. So I started to prove to myself that, hey, I could actually go out into the world and I could encounter difficult situations without needing the help of my family, my relationships. So I started to build on that trust, right? And it only came when I started to prove my older self wrong. Through my actions, my mindset started to shift, right? It's easy to say to someone, oh, just do some affirmations. I am beautiful. I am this unique, powerful individual. But yet you're still going out for a cigarette, or yet you're still, watching porn or staying up till 2 and eating Cheetos in your mother's basement. Okay, the affirmations, not a good idea. Do the actions first, and then the mindset will then adjust. The mind will then start to get it. Oh, this is what Brad wants. Oh, Brad is capable of much more than I thought he was. Right? The mind is like an 8-year-old child. You have to go out into the world and and prove to that inner child that you are capable of much more. And then mindset will start to get it. It's a disciplinary journey out into this recovery, on this recovery path. All right. So remember, you are the student and have a master with you. I hope that you use my channel, my videos, my podcast as that tool. As you go out into the unknown, take this video and take my podcast and learn and grow so that you can eventually be the master, and then maybe you'll help someone else as well. You have so much to incorporate within you. So start incorporating these new parts of you. So because they're new parts of you, that means you have to do new things. You have to go out into the unknown and grab it and implement that. Actions speak louder than words. And that's where I'm going to leave you on today's video. Thank you so much for being here. Leave your comments below if I've missed anything, and leave your comments and talk about what you've learned on this recovery journey. If you're new, leave your comments below. If you've been on this journey and you've overcame some amazing challenges, leave them below, because you might be helping somebody else. Do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.